Assalamu alaikum ji, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum Shahid bhai, how are you sir?
I'm good.
Great. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim ji, very warm welcome. आज के नूर इंटरनेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी के फायरसाइड चैट सेशन पे हमारे आज के गेस्ट हैं शाहिद मलिक साहब. शाहिद भाई, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate your time in having you join us today.
Salem, thank you for inviting me. It's a great opportunity to talk to you and all the students as well. It's always a good idea to share one's thoughts.
Thank you so much, sir. So, in typical fashion, हम quick एक नूर इंटरनेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी का इंट्रोडक्शन चलाएंगे and then we'll be right back आपका तारुफ करवाने के लिए. Admin team, over to you.
Thank you.
Great, welcome back to our guests and Shahid bhai. Shahid Malik साहब का जी introduction तारुफ करवाते हैं आज. Shahid Malik is the founder and CEO of one of the largest nutrition and natural products manufacturer in Pakistan, Hainucon. He's also the group managing director of Hilton Pharmaceuticals, which is one of the largest human pharma and animal health production facilities manufacturers in the country. Both companies are also active in several markets in Asia, Africa, and the MENA region. He's also heading, mashallah, and managing digital mental health initiatives, which we will love to hear about during our show for today. Mr. Shahid is a graduate from NYU's Stern School of Business in Finance and Economics. He's also completed many executive learning programs from Harvard, IMD, INSEAD, and London Business School. Mr. Shahid has core strengths in and brings deep understanding in the areas of life sciences, human pharma, nutrition, and animal health products, R&D, marketing, and manufacturing. He also has a deep understanding and experience of managing investments. His vision and passion is to build and be part of a happy and motivated purpose-driven teams, to continuously learn about and to bring new and innovative healthcare products and solutions to Pakistan and to the market that they serve. Shahid bhai, thank you again, sir, for joining us. It's truly a privilege that आपने हमारे लिए time निकाला आज. और आज की discussions are very broad. हमने topic choose किया north south discussion on opportunities in the region क्योंकि माशाल्लाह आप सिर्फ पाकिस्तानी market को नहीं serve करते but also the wider market. So over to you, Shahid bhai. थोड़ा सा something जो tell us about the person sitting in front of us today, where you started, your personal professional journey, and फिर उसके बाद आगे चलते हैं further.
Thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. So we can end it now because it is all downhill from here after introduction. And obviously you got my coffee with me, so looking forward to this chat. So a bit about myself, I'll just give you one, straightforward, typical answers. Obviously, I grew up in Karachi, born and bred Karachiite, and went to a very wonderful school called BVS Parsi High School. And then went abroad and got my degree in finance and economics from NYU Stern many moons back. Let's not go how far it was. So I've been back since in Karachi, and I joined our family business, and I've been privileged that my father was a very innovative gentleman who was ahead of his time, and we got into this wonderful business that is healthcare and pharma. So I've been active in the family business, and my elder brother, who is the head of the group, we have been managing it for more than a quarter of a century. And I've had different roles in sales, business development, R&D, finance, commercial operations. And now we are part of the management team that guides all the main companies of the group, which are active in human pharma products, animal health, and also nutrition herbal products. So Hilton Pharma is largely known as human pharma companies, but our animal health business is also equally important, and upcoming areas of nutrition, natural products is also very relevant. So in totality, I like to label ourselves as a life sciences group. So that's that about me. Quirky things, I like coffee, and love to read and travel. That's all.
Thank you, Shahid bhai. Again, I feel कि ये चीजें जो हैं, it makes you real for our audience. It also gets them an understanding कि everything is not easy. Silver platter पे नहीं रखा जाता है. You have to really work to grow the entity further. And माशाल्लाह, it seems कि आपने join किया, 25 साल आपकी experience है, which is no small feat in itself. And mashallah, I think Pakistan can be a challenging business environment to run operations in. So I'm sure, and we can discuss some of the challenges there. थोड़ा सा शाहिद भाई pharma sector के बारे में बताइए in Pakistan itself, if you can give us a little bit of background about your mashallah group managing director, scope of pharmaceuticals and potential for pharmaceuticals in Pakistan.
So first of all, I'll just recap from your nice comments. I've been very privileged to have worked with amazing teams, and I've been privileged to learn with a lot of people. And I think this is a journey where NIU and students can make their work and to get the benefit out of people who can contribute to your growth. So that has been the privilege. So about the pharma industry, see, we are a population of 230 million people, seventh largest country in the world. So whenever I travel abroad, I tell people in first few sentences that when I introduce Pakistan, I talk to them about the country, the demographics. So if one has the right product and the service, anything can do well in Pakistan, even in trying times. And as entrepreneurs, as businesses, and one has to see, at the end of the day, we have to serve the consumer. So if we have the right product at the right value over time, every business will flourish. Like, what is the main need? Why a pharma industry in Pakistan exists? The main reason is that we have had multinational companies, and they've been amazing companies. They came into Pakistan and introduced pharmaceutical manufacturing technology into the country. And then, national companies like ourselves and many other very good companies came onto the scene. And the difference they made was that they increase the access to medicines to a bigger percentage of population. This is very key situation. Well, sometimes we look at the metrics of growth and volumes, but access to the population is very important. So about every decade, the percentage of population getting access to medicines is increasing, and I think that's where our industry is making a difference. There are many other industries, automotive, universities. There are, and obviously education, other that increasing access. So I think that is our main duty as an industry, is to increase access to quality of healthcare products to the masses. And one example I'll give you is that there's a product of hepatitis C called Sofosbuvir, which was introduced few years back in Pakistan, and many other, originator product. And within a few years, the price point introduced by national companies was 90% less than the R&D original products. And this is a life-saving drugs. There are hundreds of examples like this. So imagine the access to the drugs increase and the treatment, and hepatitis C still is a very tricky and a serious disease. So, but by increasing the access, a lot of problems have been solved. So these stories don't make it to the media, but this is one of the things that I would find, myself to be proud of, to be associated with the industry. And one more thing is healthcare. Like, we learn and read a lot about innovation in tech, digital, but pharma is also information or high-tech industry, and there is a lot of innovation happening. And a case in point is what has happened in the COVID era, that the vaccines came very fast. I think it was unprecedented that within a year and a half, one saw vaccines coming in, and providing so much wonderful access to the population around the world. Similarly in Pakistan. So yes, there is a lot of scope. Still, there, the access needs to go more up. We are still a developing nation. We still have purchasing power issues. There's still poverty. So this will remain the potential and the scope that the companies which are trying to address this matter with innovation will continue to do well. Yeah. In addition, obviously the export base. This is another thing which I think as a country we are all focused on, and it's the need of the hour, and our pharmaceutical industry is also trying to do the same.
So ये इसी पॉइंट पे शायद भाई अगर फोकस करें आपने, थैंक यू फॉर गिविंग अस अ लैंडस्केप. ऑब्वियसली हम 220 मिलियन की आवाम है, वेरी लार्ज पॉपुलेशन, इट्स अ यंग पॉपुलेशन, ग्रोइंग पॉपुलेशन, एंड प्रिवेंशन वर्सेस क्योर वाले मामलात जो आते हैं, ऑब्वियसली प्रिवेंशन इज अ लॉट cheaper than cure. And prevention की basis पे भी आपने vaccines की for example बात की. We've gone through polio, malaria, which continue to persist in Pakistan, but hopefully now on the decrease. Export के बारे में जो especially है, do you feel, given mashallah where you stand, well Hilton Pharma stands in particular, के export potential wise there is enough value addition because there is the R&D happening, there's the production happening, there's a substantial marketing expense, there's probably approvals in different geographies. उसके लैंडस्केप के बारे में थोड़ा सा बताइए कि being from Pakistan, are there any special hurdles that you face in the export market, or are there general hurdles that one should be aware of in the pharma sector?
So obviously the pharma is very heavily regulated business for the right reasons, and all regions of the world have specific regulatory, there is a generally unified regulatory system around the world for manufacturing and quality operations, but then every country has its own market dynamics. So the thing is that obviously in exports, countries like India, China, and obviously Europe and US, they are very, very strong and traditionally have been very strong. But then I think Pakistan has a very unique place because there are thousands of different medicines, and no one country and no one company can serve all the needs. So there are niches, there are segments where Pakistani companies have done well and will do well by again accessing the different markets. So in terms of exports, some of the pharma companies have really done well. So it's if you have the right product and that market is not being served by a certain company or country, then one can really benefit there. And I think the major opportunity for Pakistani companies in export lie within the region and the north-south, which I think I'll talk about a bit later. So there is opportunity, yes, and I think it's a need of the hour for the country as well.
Definitely. And ये बताइए शाहिद भाई, about Afghanistan in particular. Obviously Afghanistan, some of our neighboring, some of the countries in our neighborhood are distinctly worse off, especially from a healthcare perspective, from access to medicine perspective. Aya ke countries like Afghanistan, is there given the current situation an opportunity? Because generally you don't think of Afghanistan as the top of the list from a lot of manufacturers' perspective. Is pharma different?
So it's an interesting question from a perception basis and what you mentioned. First of all, I'll make this short story long. So when we look at ASEAN, so a lot of the countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, they benefit because they're trading with their neighbors. So most obvious market for one's products and services is your neighboring countries. Now, Pakistan is in a very unique geopolitical situation. And so every country is a different case. So we are not an integrated market like EU or ASEAN. So every country has a different business case. But if one looks at exports and statistics around the world, more than 50% of the exports and imports of a country is with the neighboring countries. So talking about Afghanistan, trading with Afghanistan for obvious reason, as it's a neighboring country, is logistically, convenient. We share cultural and historical ties with Afghanistan. It's a wonderful country with rich history and culture, and sadly has gone through 4 decades of war and trauma. And I think one has to remind oneself. Sometimes we get caught up with a lot of headlines, but I think there is a very sad and suffering history, and that one has to consider, and also work towards making sure that how can we do better for our neighboring countries, and regarding the market. Again, it's a developing market. It has gone through a certain period. Maybe we hope that things may settle down, things may improve there more, and which I feel that things are getting better. So for Pakistani companies, pharma companies, Afghanistan is a very important market, and majority of the companies are active there. And there is again, I'm talking about the logistics being the most obvious reasons to be active in the Pakistan market. One more thing that I would add is that any company, whether pharma or consumer, who are working there, they must also be active in the CSR area, social responsibility, and to make a contribution while ensuring that they are having good businesses there. So besides pharma as well, a lot of consumer companies have a strong footprint as well in Afghanistan. So let's hope for the best for the country.
Inshallah.
And also,
you're right. Unfortunately, Afghanistan has been through very tumultuous times. हमारी जिंदगी में तो for as far as back as I can remember, sadly, बहुत ज़्यादा उनके challenges आए हैं. And I hope कि inshallah there is stability, because their stability means stability for us as well as a region. And before we move to the north-south domain, जिसके बारे में आपने partially बताया भी, पाकिस्तानी market के बारे में थोड़ा सा फिर से आते हैं कि I know things like DRAP, regulatory regime, pricing, logistics, and especially थोड़ा सा pre and post COVID impact भी change हुआ होगा. We'd love to learn from your lens कि how has COVID impacted Hilton Pharmaceuticals in particular. But अगर हम two questions in one को थोड़ा सा करें कि आपको pre-COVID challenges या opportunities क्या नजर आती थी, post-COVID क्या आती हैं, barriers to entry in this market, or barriers to entry for introducing new drugs, new medication. Let's spend like a few minutes on that landscape.
So when COVID came in, it was a scare, right? For 4 or 5 months for most of the industries. Unfortunately, the services industries really suffered a lot. But after the 4 or 5 months of scare, and I think things did get back to normal in some ways for the pharma industries, and for Hilton Pharma as well, because healthcare was the main important topic. In some ways, healthcare did get highlighted because of COVID, even if one was not suffering from respiratory issues. So not much permanent change. Yes, we are all using Zoom and remote working a lot, but in terms of the industry dynamics, they do remain the same. In terms of, so I feel that there are different challenges relating to the macroeconomy. Otherwise, COVID was a blip. About 6 to 8 months after that, things did return to, it was business as usual for business and problems.
Got it. And as far as local manufacturing is concerned, आपके कोई any particular challenges or opportunities जो आप देखते हैं procurement की, quality medication को sustain करने के लिए, again without getting into, like you said, it is a highly regulated market, and I know DRAP has been a bit of a draconian element which we don't necessarily need to get into, but let's say tiptoeing around that. Other than that, आपको challenges क्या नजर आते हैं as a large local player in this landscape that you feel can be addressed?
So healthcare and pharma particularly is a sensitive topic, not only in Pakistan but around the world, because it has to do with health. So the stakeholder is not only the pharma company and the government. The stakeholders are the public opinion leaders, the regulators, and of course the most important is the end consumer. Because the consumer in pharma, if you go buy a soft drink, the consumer makes he or she sees an ad and buy it. But in pharma, the consumer does not have much choice when the consumer is recommended medicine to be taken. So the regulatory alignment regarding the quality, the pricing, the accessibility, the regulators, and for the right reasons, regulators and opinion leaders, society has to be a stakeholder in the process. Sometimes, yes, the rhetoric can become very, very, charged. At the same time, my experience over, decades, that this dialogue has been going on. Sometimes it gets charged, sometimes it does not. But so far, things move in the right direction. So, as far as the pricing is concerned, the regulatory authorities and the industry are always in dialogue to ensure that companies are able to manufacture. The drugs are feasible to manufacture, so they can ensure quality and accessibility. So my first point, accessibility is the most important thing. And the worst drug is the drug which is not available. So for the sake of accessibility, the medicine manufacturing has to be made feasible. So we have a dialogue with DRAP for that, and DRAP does its own job trying to ensure that the medicines are available in accessible pricing. So things don't work perfectly all the time, but this is what it is, and there's a constant dialogue that has to go on. So
wonderful. Thank you.
But I think overall the things they do find their course of action. Yeah.
बिल्कुल ठीक है, और आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा शायद भाई, that rightfully so perhaps, both healthcare and pharmaceuticals tend to be fairly highly regulated, and there is because a public good hai per se, या public service hai that you are providing in the case of healthcare and pharma in particular, uski regulatory regime needs to be tightly monitored to keep everybody in check and to provide like you said, accessibility is key. जो भी drug दे रहे हैं, चाहे वो life saving हो. Of course, there's a CSR initiative, and I know there is always ये dichotomy चल रही होती है कि जी R&D के खर्चे भी पूरे करने हैं in case you're developing new drug. At the same time, आपने lifespan of the revenue stream भी देखनी है, and at the end of the day, you have to make money. You have to make the two end meet for it to be feasible for you to continue in that particular domain, feasibility wise. Shahid bhai, let's come to north south wala jo element hai, jo hamara काफी एक focus hai today. It's not something that we think about very often, but north south, we mean Central Asia, Afghanistan, Russia, African continent. Help us again describe that landscape as you see it relevant for your business.
So first, when I was honored to be approached by your university for this talk, so I've been having this conversation with my friends about the North-South, which I'll explain later. And I thought it was a good opportunity when this came. I was asked, what topic I should choose. I thought I should talk about North-South. Now, what North-South for me means and how I can elaborate is that Pakistan is blessed by its location. And we have, in our east, we have China, Asia, and we have traditionally had very, very good trading relationships with them. On our west, and obviously this is all approximations. I mean, don't get beyond the geography. So west we have the GCC. We've been very close. Europe, US, our exports and imports. So we've been very well integrated. But then there's a facet in the north, which is Afghanistan, Central Asia, and these countries. Though, if one goes back to history, culturally and historically, we've been very close to these countries. And if one goes there, you find many similarities with their culture. So I think now the land routes are opening to the countries via Afghanistan. There is land route access as well. So there is opportunity for everybody to explore trade. And also, if one has expertise in any area, one can offer their services and learn about those areas. Like if one learns their languages, English is also widely spoken in all the areas. So that is about Central Asia, and they are resource-rich countries. And I think Pakistan, it can benefit a lot. So we should continue to obviously trade with the East and the West, but I think the North Central Asia is underexploited. That's what I mean. I mean, if companies want to explore for export and import, and as well as there are many success stories of individuals going there, finding great acceptance in different professions and also businesses. Africa is another dynamic altogether. I think people now say that this could be the African century. The great demographic, large population, a lot of work done in infrastructure. So in our experience, what I've observed is that the African economies are quietly moving forward. And reason why I'm highlighting this is that most of the time in the media, when we open whatever publications that we're exposed to, whether they're Western publications or domestic, we talked about the issues, whether they're political or business, which are in the East and the West. But there is scant information and talk about the African continent and Central Asia in terms of the business opportunities and general exposure. So I think where there is less attention, there is more opportunity. And they're beautiful countries, and I think they are on the cusp of greatness in terms of finding their acceptance in the global market as developed markets. So yes, it will require efforts. One has to go travel, search on the internet, go to different trade exhibitions, and if one has any qualification, whether it's in medical sciences or IT, these countries, they do need people. And I think Pakistanis, we are wonderful, in terms of offering, we have wonderful skills set to offer as well. So obviously we should be engaged with the West, Europe, US, and obviously China and Asia and countries. But these are under, underexplored regions.
Very true, Shahid bhai. I know for a fact that जो आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा कि जो ट्रेडिशनल एक्सपोर्ट मार्केट्स हमारी रही हैं फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ आवर एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेशन हैज बीन द डेवलप्ड वर्ल्ड, यूरोप, यूएस, कनाडा, on mostly on the western side. Waqai, I think Central Asia, Africa, yes, you're right, the Africa is waiting to happen. It is happening, in fact, हमारे सामने भी अब हो रहा है. I think China recognizes that as well. Russia recognizes that. They're all making their mainstay. And the government of Pakistan, I know, has some SROs which give you a little bit of export rebate अगर आप ये non-traditional markets में, especially Africa को फ्रंटियर मार्केट्स को टैप इन करें. इन पर्टिकुलर अगर मैं आपसे पूछ सकूं शायद भाई, आपने लॉजिस्टिक्स की 2-3 दफा बात की. इट्स ऑलवेज बीन इन माय माइंड कि सेंट्रल एशिया को टैप करना कैन बी अ लिटिल चैलेंजिंग फ्रॉम अ लॉजिस्टिकल स्टैंड पॉइंट बिकॉज जनरली रोड फ्रेट है. इज दैट समथिंग दैट कम्स टू बी अ हिंड्रेंस? इज दैट समथिंग दैट प्राइसिंग वाइज यू नीड टू बी careful of while exporting products by the land route, I assume?
So I won't not have an exact answer, but I would say one thing, like before the access to Central Asia with the sea routes via Suez Canal and other countries, but now we have a land route which has always been there, but now it's more actively used via Afghanistan. So that is our access point. So I think there is a freight and timing advantage as well, how quickly the goods can move from Pakistan and can come to Pakistan via Afghanistan, and also the price element. So one has to see what trade you are in. If I'm not wrong, I was talking to somebody last week that Uzbekistan cotton is now coming regularly to Pakistan. It's been coming for a while. So again, one has to look at different segments where an organization is strong and can study where things are going to happen. But the study needs to take place.
वाकई, and I think COVID teaches us कि ये जो global supply chain disruptions हुई हैं, I think there's another move कि जी हम globalization से जरा वापस, at least if not fully local, at least regionalization की तरफ जाएं. For example, I know unfortunately because of our flooding, ईरान से हमने प्याज बहुत import करना शुरू किया. That's been one of the I keep on reading in the news that has suddenly come up as a new marketing opportunity for Irani onions to come through our land route. Again, expense is one thing. On the other hand, there is a need. There's an opportunity which obviously people are relying on. So, अच्छा Shahid bhai, थोड़ा सा let's move on to आपकी again Hilton Pharmaceutical की landscape. Tell us a little bit about again your achievements and contributions of Hilton Pharma to Pakistan in terms of drugs that we would know about, in terms of आपने CSR activities की बात की. Mashallah, I know I keep on reading in the recent news that mashallah, your founders are one of the biggest taxpayers in Pakistan. You were recognized. So at least good corporate citizenship is something that you value. Tell us about those things, about what Hilton Pharma has put on the map for us here in Pakistan.
So thank you for your kind words, and I try to be careful with my choice of words in terms of with humility, and it's all thanks to God that we've been able to do some good work. So Hilton Pharma, And I think when my father started, we are a chemicals trading company, and then we came into pharma. And from day one, we have been introducing innovative, products in Pakistan. First time introductions. The national pharma industry has been generally known as a generic industry, which is great to bring good copy. And we are also a very big generic manufacturer. But at the same time, what differentiates Hilton Pharma are two things that we have introduced. I think most innovative first-time product launches, successful launches in Pakistan than perhaps any other company, in national industry. That is step number one, point number one. Point number two is that we are the only life sciences group, which is a top 5 group in human pharma, in animal health, and also nutrition and herbal products. So innovation is in our DNA, and it has been there since day one. And we've been very blessed that we've been following that route, and increasing accessibility for new innovative products for the Pakistan consumer. So this is one thing that I'm proud about, the innovation aspect. And I guess in any business, and I guess a lot of words are thrown. For me, I think innovation is the key in any business, any even rote business. There is some innovation. If you look at commodities, okay, the commodity cannot change, but the selling systems can change. So there is innovation everywhere. So that's, I think, has been our strength, and it is part of our DNA and our culture. And of course, it goes without saying, quality assurance is a very, very important topic. This has been our hallmark, human resource, and so social responsibility. So we've been very blessed. We have had wonderful team members across the years, and who have helped us achieve these objectives for our organization and society at large.
Fantastic. And of course, जिसमें आपने बताया कि आपकी टीम, I know market में हम भी हैं, so mashallah, very, very positive words about the Hilton pharmaceutical team which you operate. You truly treat them as team members, बहुत, which is something which I think in Pakistan can, let's say, be a little lacking. I think आप disconnect हो जाते हैं, especially as the organization grows. There can be a disconnect between maintaining good team member skills, which is a great segue, Shahid bhai, into our next question. Ke career opportunities wise, agar aap bataiye ke obviously we in Noor International University and our Fatima Memorial Hospital group, we have a lot of opportunities and for students to go out into the field. Pharma is definitely one of them. Aapne life sciences ki bhi baat ki, animal side ki bhi baat ki. What do you think are the career opportunities with both Hilton Pharma has and Hanucon? Fresh graduates ko kya options and opportunities de sakte hain aaj?
So two main opportunities. One is obviously the sales and distribution. The other is manufacturing and quality operations. So sales operations, they both are very interesting and exciting in their own ways. So one is starting out the career. If one goes into pharmaceutical selling, and pharmaceutical selling is face-to-face selling. So when I joined the business, तो मैं पहला एक साल field में sales में गुजारा. And I was very intimidated. Like when a young person, you have to interact with doctors who are are very qualified and head of departments. But I mean, that was a learning process. So I think if one and then over time you gain confidence, how to talk, how to deal with, and how to make positive communications with such a highly privileged, highly qualified customers. So I think if one goes into sales, it's very hard work, and I really thank our sales force to do that hard work every day. If one spends few years, it teaches you life skills that will last your lifetime. Good companies will train you, how to talk, how to dress, how to communicate, and over time, going to these wonderful doctors and part of a medical profession, you learn from them when you gain confidence. And you're trained to how to talk about medicines, how to impart the medical information. So there's a whole 360 element. Then one is going to field, to chemists, to the different distribution angles. So this is a lifelong skill one can gain by going to the selling operations. And then if one wants to continue, one can rise up in the selling operations or can go into any profession. But the things that you learn in sales operations will remain with you for the lifetimes. And No, of course, it's a production and quality, and I've seen the a lot of areas in your university is covering very comprehensive areas in that aspects. The pharmacists and chemistry graduates, they're always more than welcome in quality assurance operations and productions in pharma. Again, amazing skills. The quality operations in any pharma companies are very sophisticated, meticulous, and documented. Now, if one chooses to remain in pharma industries, there is growth. But if one goes to any other industries, I think the quality assurance and learning that one gets in pharma industry is unparalleled, and that is also a life skill which is there. So one has to decide what is one's liking, or one wants to go to sales and marketing, wants to learn, wants to impart the information, wants to work with teams, grow with the teams. This is another one exciting venue. The other is to become part of the production team, is when is involved in many different technical facets, production, yeah, R&D, quality assurance operations, safety, health and safety. There's a facet of that. So one has to align. Great learning opportunity.
फैंटास्टिक एंड आपने बिल्कुल शायद भाई ये सही कहा कि जो एक्सपीरियंस आप फ्रंट लाइन सेल से ले सकते हैं एंड टू एक्चुअली गो एंड पिच स्पेशली इन फ्रंट ऑफ let's say in this case generally you'll be pitching to very highly qualified physicians, doctors, general physicians, super specialists जिसको आप कहेंगे कि अच्छा यार ये this is the drug I'm selling. So the sort of experience, and like you said, the communication skills, the confidence, even the way you dress, you talk, you pitch, आपको frontline view is definitely something that I think will be very valued. And then of course you are a full-fledged organization, so other than production, QA, and of course there's the whole support functions, HR, finance, I'm sure comes in. Which brings us to pretty much our last question, Shahid bhai. Given what you know, mashallah, with 25 years of experience under your belt, can you look back, hindsight is 2020, 25 years ago, and imagine कि आप या तो you're entering college, or you're in the middle of college, and you're getting your degree, or getting to start real life in a year, 2 years, 3 years. What would be your advice to students who are in the higher education field already as they graduate? आप उनको, what would be your words of wisdom to them?
So I think my advice, or my thoughts, I would say more than advice, my thoughts is that same as I talk to a lot of people who are now entering workforces, is that first is about information, right? Like हम एक information age में है, and we are all overwhelmed by information. So मैं ये advice करूँगा students को यार, try to read a newspaper every day instead of going for snippets of information. Any newspaper you like, one or the more the newspapers, the better, and the physical newspaper even better. So it will help you form a world view over the course of your time. It will not happen immediately, but consuming free information in snippets is not healthy, and may not give anyone that complete comprehensive information to form a comprehensive view about anything. So obviously that is a general topic. Read a paper. It sounds very simple, but I think our generation is a bit we had to because only access to information was through papers. Now there are many other tools, but I think newspapers are becoming relevant if one has to stay informed in a comprehensive way. Second, I would say that read publications within the industry or profession that you are pursuing. So I think they could be available in your libraries. You can subscribe to them, go online, read them regularly, and any subject of your specialization. There are local publications, there are international publications. Read them regularly, because they will help you form a view about where you want to head. And third one that I would like to suggest is that all the professions that that you are trying to pursue, they generally have some sort of exhibition or fair happening in a big city like Lahore or Karachi. So just show up and see कि क्या हो रहा है, different stalls में क्या activity हो रही है. Great way to get motivated and to see what's happening. Great way to exchange cards, introductions के भी what you want to do. तो ये भी एक tangible आपको introduction मिल जाता है. Like last week there was a wonderful exhibition in Lahore for animal health products. Poultry ka tha. There are hundreds of companies exhibiting. Anybody who's a DVM, जो कि veterinary doctors होते हैं, अगर वो जाते हैं वहाँ जाके देखते companies को, it's what a wonderful place to learn about what is happening in the industry. तो इस तरह के बहुत exhibitions होते हैं. So this is very important. And the last point is the network. At the end of the day, people who will have your back are your friends and the people and your mentors. So whichever profession you're following, in college, university, obviously your professors and friends who have already joined the industry, family members, they are really, really important, because your network will really remain with you for your lifetime to guide you for different journey. So cultivate the network, knock doors, and don't be shy about reaching out. So these are the few thoughts that I have.
Thank you so much, Shahid. I think जो आपने सबसे पहला वाला point किया about reading a newspaper, वाकई when I went to business school, तो उन्होंने free Financial Times की subscription दी कि and the physical one कि यार pick up as many copies. आपको 2 copies चाहिए, you might leave one somewhere, pick up another one from the hall. बाकी snippets of information जो हम एक information age में रहते हैं, it can be more dangerous than not having or having little information. Is can be more dangerous than having the full information. And the fact कि जी आप अपना world view shape कर सकें, it's very important. You have to be on top of your game. Understand कि in isolation ये दुनिया नहीं चल रही. There's so many moving parts, intricacies, which are in the global dynamic, which we must understand. I think reading, then again, like you said, specific publications in the area that you're interested in to help you shape. Let's say you go into veterinary sciences and you come to realize, maybe this is not for me, or you're going in a particular direction of general medicine, you want to go into surgery. So exhibitions, we encourage our production team, for example, here in the production unit, and students as well. Exhibitions, Pakistan has also started hosting a lot of exhibitions. You don't need to go abroad anymore. Attend karen. There's a lot of online sessions also as well जो attend कर सकते हैं. It opens up your world and your perspective to new things. And network वाली जो आपने बात की है कि don't be afraid of knocking on those doors. It's better to try than to try and to fail rather than to not try at all. And you'll be surprised at how many people do open that door when you knock, because they had been in similar positions like themselves as they are starting out. They would be remarkably more happy to assist. मुझे जब भी किसी का phone आता है या they want to meet, I will go out of my way to try, because that's the least that we can do in our positions, is to help them guide the younger minds, to guide them to an area, because you have to look at where your passion is, identify your passions. It's not easy. Sometimes, but the fact that you're pursuing higher education means that you're already many steps ahead than most of the people, and privileged also than most of the people who are there. So with that, sir, we are almost at time. Shahid bhai, I would like to take the opportunity again to thank you. आपने हमारे साथ अपना कीमती वक्त निकाला, अपने thoughts share की. I hope to our listeners that it was useful. The goal here is to connect our students to people like yourselves, for them to emulate and to identify some of the opportunities and challenges that may come out of this particular sector, with your entrepreneurial capabilities, operational capabilities, sales capabilities. So thank you so much for joining us, and really appreciate you. Inshallah, next time we're in Lahore, we'd love to host you on campus as well.
Thank you, Salem. It was a wonderful, it was a privilege to be invited to share some thoughts with yourself and also the student body. Obviously, this is a process of learning, and I hope that some of the talk that I did made sense and can be of use. Thank you so much.
Inshallah. Thank you, Ji. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.